Hello, and welcome to Greenpath Training Videos, Video 2, How to Write a Policy. When first using Policy 1, there are a few key things you must do to ensure it works properly. Please review the technical FAQs to ensure a smooth process. First, make sure you have Microsoft Silverlight installed into your computer. This is a program that helps Policy 1 run properly. If you do not have it installed into your programs, you can go to microsoft.com/silverlight to download it to your computer. Next, you want to make sure your pop-up blockers are turned off on your web browser. This is especially important when you are pulling up the application at the end of the process because it will literally pop up at the bottom of your screen. Third, you want to make Policy 1 a favorite in your toolbar for easy access to the website. Should you lose the link to the websites, you can access it through greenpathinsurance.com. Please refer to How to Make a Payment slideshow to see step-by-step instructions on how to access Policy 1 through our website. Lastly, be sure to test your login that was sent to you. If it does not work for you, please contact the marketing department and they will remedy that for you immediately. You can reach the marketing department at marketing@greenpathinsurance.com. Now we begin by walking you through your first policy. When you've opened up your first quote, you will see a 9-tab toolbar at the top of your screen. The toolbar changes color for notification purposes. Blue means you're currently working on that tab. Gray means you've not input any information on that tab yet. Green means you filled out everything and can move forward. And red means there's missing information or it does not comply with our underwriting guidelines. If the tab is red, please make sure to verify all information that bridged over is accurate. And at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the navigation buttons. These 4 navigation buttons at the bottom of the screen will help you move through Policy 1. You do need to make sure that your zoom is at 100% or lower and able to see these. If you are not able to see these validation bars, you will not be able to move forward. When you move onto the Drivers tab, you will be able to select SR22 filings and international drivers. For our Savings and Navigator programs, we accept international and matricular for the full experience. With our Compass program, it is a good driver program that does accept international drivers if they can meet the good driver guidelines of 3 years experience with 18 months experience in California. For example, an international driver with 12 months California driving experience and 2 years international experience would not be able to apply for the Compass program. On the Drivers tab, the navigation bars will have an additional button to add drivers. Up in the top right corner of the Drivers tab, you will see the Remove button if there's a second driver you wish to remove. Exclusions, however, will not be made from the Drivers tab. They will be made on the Validation page shortly after the Rate tab. For missing information, a red or multicolored tab will indicate the page that is incomplete or does not comply with our underwriting guidelines. You can hover over the section that is missing with your mouse to view what is needed to complete the tab. As of a recent update to Policy 1, a red notification bar will also pop up below the tabs to tell you what fields are missing. Once the tab is turned green, you may move on to the next field. Should you ever get stuck on a red tab, you can call customer service at 1-877-789-4742 and they will help you move forward. To see if you have any missing information on the page you are working on, you can click the Validate button at the bottom of your screen to see if it does go green and complies with our guidelines. For violations and accidents, Greenpath Insurance goes by conviction date, not by violation date, so please make sure the conviction date is accurate before moving forward. When entering the Vehicles tab, please make sure you're using the full and complete VIN so we can make sure the insured is properly covered. On the Vehicles tab, the acceptable usage types are pleasure, commute, business, and artisan. However, our Compass program does not accept artisan use. However, they do accept farming as the acceptable usage type for Compass only. Please verify the usage and mileage are accurate to ensure adequate coverage. Greenpath Insurance goes by actual miles, but we do default to 10,000 miles. On the Vehicles tab, there are options to select discounts such as daytime running lights or anti-lock brakes. There are a section to select salvage vehicles and lien holders. And then additionally on the Vehicles tab, you will notice the Add button on the nav bar and the Remove button on the second Vehicle tab. Greenpath Insurance accepts 2 cars to 1 insured. For example, if there's 3 people on a policy, Greenpath Insurance will accept up to 6 vehicles. For example purposes, we're going to take you back to the FSC Rater under the Coverages tab, so you can see the permissive use or buyback and the triple deductible selections. By selecting the permissive use or buyback, that allows coverage for permissive operators not named on the policy. By selecting the triple deductible and FSC, this will allow the triple deductible to be applied for the first 60 days after policy inception, reinstatement with lapse, rewrite with lapse, renewal with lapse, or a gap in coverage. The triple deductible will give a discount on the premium. If the triple deductible is not selected, there will be an increase in the premium. Now back in Policy 1, under our own coverages tab, you'll see the named operator buyback program and the triple deductible discounts as well. The named operator buyback program allows for coverage for permissive operators not named on the policy, just like in FSC. And the triple deductible discount, by selecting the triple deductible discount, will allow the triple deductible to be applied for the first 60 days after the policy inception, reinstatement with lapse, rewrite with lapse, renewal with lapse, or a gap in coverage. Again, the triple deductible will give a discount on the premium. If it is not selected, there will be an increase in the premium. If you select one or the other in FSC, it should be checkmarked in Policy 1. So when you get to this tab, go ahead and verify to make sure that the appropriate selections have been made. As part of our programs, the United States Auto Club Motoring Division, Inc. will be providing 24-hour roadside assistance to Greenpath customers. Their services include the following: towing, battery jump start, gas delivery of up to 3 gallons, flat tire change, and a locksmith service. The benefit limit is up to $75 per incident, and they're limited to 3 roadside claims in any 12-month period. They can contact the 24-hour roadside service at 1-877-335-7897, and the group number below is 15130. Now, this documentation will be printed along with the documents once you bind coverage to the policy. Just as a refresher of our coverages, our savings program is more of our non-standard policy, has lower limits, no med pay or rental reimbursement options. Our Compass program is our good driver preferred program, higher limits, med pay options, and rental reimbursement options as well. Lastly, you have our Navigator program, which is kind of in the middle, which has higher limits, med pay options, and 1 rental reimbursement option. Now that we've reached the rate page, here are your pay plan options reflecting the amount due and future payments that are due. The rate box shows the final rate and corresponding premiums for each coverage. As a special note for the first installment for the 16% down, they will be due within 19 days from the original start date. For example, if a customer starts their policy on the 1st of September, they will receive a billing invoice for the next 7 days, and the first installment will be due around the September 19th. For future installments, after that first installment cycle, remaining installments will occur every 30 days after. For example, considering a customer's first installment is due on the 19th, the remaining 4 installments will also be due around the 19th. We do accept credit card, debit card, electronic check, and reoccurring drafts. For more details on payment plans, please contact customer service at 1-877-789-4742. Now, when moving on to the validations page, the FCRA message will appear. The system will now run MVR, lost history, and undisclosed drivers. Go ahead and select yes on this little menu that pops up, and we can move forward. Upon opening the Validations tab, if anything comes back that was not disclosed or the rate is affected, it will redirect you back to the page that needs to be edited. Once you've edited the appropriate information, it will allow you to move back to the rate page where you can see the new rate. If the rate is not affected, you will remain on the Validations page. To challenge a violation, click on the challenge, enter in the reason you're challenging it, and the information will be sent to our underwriting department for further verification. Please allow the underwriting team 24 to 48 hours to view and change the submitted policy. For example purposes, this is what the challenge pop-up box would look like. You would enter your information in here and send it off to the underwriting department. Now, just like with the violations, to challenge an accident, click on the certificate, fill out the certificate information, and the information will be sent to our underwriting department for further verification. For example purposes, this is what the edit certificate box would look like. Has a few more questions in the challenge box. Answer all the questions pertaining to that accident, and then the information will be sent to the underwriting department. Now, like I mentioned before, you will not find the excluded drivers on the Drivers tab. You will find it on the Validations tab below the License Status Results. To exclude drivers, click on the new driver under Excluded Drivers. For the excluded drivers, enter in as much information as you have on that excluded driver as possible. Anyone who is 15 years or older living in the household must be included or excluded from the policy. Once you've entered in the information, the excluded driver's information will show up below. If a driver comes up from the undisclosed driver report that the insured does not recognize, or if the driver does not currently live in the household and has no access to the vehicle, you may challenge the driver. There must be a clear reason as to why the driver is being challenged and will ultimately be up to the underwriting department to approve the challenge. Now, before you can take a payment, there are some questions that must be answered in order to move on to the next tab. There are 7 underwriting and 4 producer questions that must be answered to move on to the payment screen. Now, in order to take a payment, go ahead and select the payment method from the drop-down menu. Options you have are Trust, EFT, or credit card. Now, to select the payment type, go from the drop-down menu, where you can select producer cash, check, credit card, or other. Once the payment has been submitted, you'll be on the validating step. At this point, the system is generating the policy and setting up all the documents. Do not hit the back button, or you risk clearing out the entire quote and having to do it all over again. Now remember to have your pop-up blockers turned off. You will not be able to access the application if pop-up blockers are not turned off. Here's your policy number and confirmation that your quote has been submitted. You will now print all documents and obtain required signatures. We do accept e-signatures. Please remember you are required to keep a copy of the signed documents in your office. You will also need to keep the vehicle inspection form, including photos for vehicles requesting physical damage coverage. All vehicles with physical damage, business or artisan, or contain altered vehicles required 4 sides of each vehicle to be kept on file. Photographs can only be waived if the insured qualifies for one of the following. The policy is sold through EasyBuy, which is coming in the future. Policy is sold within 7 days of the purchase of a new vehicle. Proof copy of sales contract would be needed. Lastly, the insurance has at least 6 months of prior coverage with no lapses in coverage and no accidents. And proof of the deck page, which would be retained by the producer, would need to be kept on file. Congratulations! You've just issued your first policy with Greenpath. Practice makes perfect, so keep those policies coming. If you need any help while issuing a policy, please contact our customer service at 1-877-789-4742. Thank you for joining us and have a wonderful day.